appreciate everything that you done for me.
Really like Terence Crawford, right? Because of his switch hitting style. Now, Terence Crawford is due a massive, he's due a massive performance. And I think Canelo's made for him. Canelo doesn't fight with any urgency anymore.
So experience.
Yeah?
Yeah, you got a killer in him. He a silent killer. I've been around niggas like that in the hood. Them niggas lay back until you bring it out of them, then they just...
Terence Crawford finished his last day of training camp before his huge fight with Canelo Alvarez. Turki Alalshik was also at the camp, showing solid support for Crawford. Terence thanked Turki for standing by him and helping throughout the journey. Even after all the hard work, he reminded everyone that the mission isn't done yet and showed confidence that he will claim victory in the ring.
Hey, appreciate everything that you done for me. You and Riyadh City.
You must
The job ain't done
return.
yet.
Yeah,
Job ain't done yet.
yeah. It's Saturday. Deliver the job.
But listen.
No retirement.
Yeah.
Terence Crawford's final days of preparation have been full of hard work and determination as he gets ready for the biggest fight of his career against Canelo Alvarez. At training camp, Crawford has been sparring tough rounds, sharpening his reactions, and polishing his defense while keeping his attacks sharp and strong. His coaches and team point out the discipline and focus he has shown, proving he's a fighter who left nothing unfinished in camp. The video clips show him pushing non-stop, his body lean and fit, ready to enter the ring with total confidence. Crawford's confidence shows in his words as he boldly says that victory is in reach, even though the test ahead won't be easy. His interviews and training clips show a man who performs best under pressure, aware of how big facing a champion like Canelo is, but never doubting what he can do. His words reveal a fighter who prepares not just his body, but also his mind to stay steady. He promises fans that no matter how hard the fight gets, his plan, discipline, and belief in himself will carry him to victory.
How do you see this fight with Canelo going?
I'm definitely going to win the fight, for sure. But, I think it's going to be a tough fight. I think he's going to bring the best out of me. I'm going to bring the best out of him, and it's going to be exciting.
Unlike many fighters who push to hard chasing perfection, Crawford has been smart with his training. He explains that he doesn't want to drive his body past its limits, choosing instead to give his all during planned sessions. This shows his maturity as a fighter who knows how vital rest and balance are. He points out that the hard work he's already put into camp is enough and that adding extra strain could lead to exhaustion or injury before the fight.
But right now, I'm not training hard. I'm not even training, really. I don't want to overtrain because me personally, when I go in the gym, I give my all, and I don't want to burn myself out.
Lester Martinez, Crawford's main sparring partner, has given strong warnings about what Canelo is about to face. After spending long hours in the ring with Terence during camp, Martinez confidently says Crawford's power is something even Canelo will struggle with. He insists that while many think Canelo is the naturally bigger man, Crawford feels just as big and strong in the ring. Martinez explains that the force of Terence's punches has convinced him a beast is coming for Canelo. His words add real weight to Crawford's camp, since sparring partners often give the clearest view of a fighter's true form.
No, está como dicen muchos, está cabrón. Está preparado, está listo, a pesar de venir de una categoría muy abajo, subir a la 168, pues yo tengo el sparring con él. Tanto lo he ayudado como he sentido que él me ha ayudado también a mí. Entonces, anteriormente estaba enfocado en ayudarlo, pero luego que me dijeron que yo iba a pelear, ¿sabes qué? Necesito ayudarte, pero que me ayudes. Y ya en el ring nos entendemos. Yo casi no hablo inglés. Todavía voy practicándolo, pero en el ring nos entendemos muy bien. Y hay una buena vibra, pero él está listo. Y yo también estoy listo.
El tema del peso, ¿cómo crees lo afectará en el noche de pelea haciendo sparring con él?
¿Cómo?
Haciendo sparring con Terence, la gente habla, pues el Canelo es muy grande, 2 categorías.
Bueno, en realidad en tamaño creo que están iguales. Pero en diferencia de peso, sí, a lo mejor Canelo está más acostumbrado a esa categoría que Terence. Pero te digo, vengo haciendo sparring con él desde que estaba en las 147 libras. Mi primer sparring con él en las 147. Yo era ya 168, sigo siendo 168. Y lo único que hizo ahora pues es subir de peso, aumentar de peso. Y sí, se siente muy diferente haber hecho sparring con él en 147 y ahora hacer sparring con él en 168. Pero yo creo que...
¿Cómo se siente diferente?
En el sentido que le he sentido más pegada, más explosivo. La rapidez, el snap lo tiene todavía el cabrón, no lo ha perdido, lo he sentido. Pero creo que la nutrición que lleva, el equipo de trabajo con el que tiene.
Former champion Duke McKenzie has boldly said that Crawford is built to break down Canelo Alvarez. In his view, many of the fighters Canelo has faced in recent years weren't truly elite, and Crawford brings a challenge unlike any other. He believes Terence's versatility, ability to adjust during a fight, and natural ring IQ make him the perfect fighter to expose Canelo's weaknesses. McKenzie notes that even though Canelo has beaten many different opponents, he has never gone up against someone with Crawford's skill, timing, and precision.
Over the years, when you look, since he's been off the mad cow meat, right? You look at his last 5 fights, he's boxed ordinary fighters, you know, and they're not in the same league. They're really not in the same league. And I think to myself, his last 5 fights, even what's that kid's name? Hamza Shiraz, right? So he boxed in his last fight. He knocked out, what's the kid's name?
Belanga.
Right, he knocked out Belanga. Belanga took your man there. He took him the distance. Now you only got to balance it up. If Belanga can take in the distance, you got to say to yourself, what is Terence Crawford going to do to Canelo Cotto. I've got the names mixed up. Yeah, right. So what's he going to do to you know what? I look at the fight and I think to myself, I really like Terence Crawford, right? Because of his switch hitting style. Now Terence Crawford is due a massive performance. And I think Canelo's made for him. Canelo doesn't fight with any urgency anymore. You don't get any head movement from him anymore. He doesn't show you a punch and hit you with another one anymore. There's no variety in his whole sort of makeup. And I look at him and I think to myself, Canelo's become, just in my opinion, I think he's become a little bit pedestrian in as much as goes in straight lines, comes out in straight lines. There's no urgency to his work.
One of the biggest concerns before this fight was the weight gap, with critics saying Crawford moving up to face Canelo would leave him at a disadvantage. But new training footage has quieted much of that doubt. Crawford's body looks bigger, stronger, and sharper than ever, making many analysts shift their predictions in his favor. Observers now say the weight issue doesn't matter, as Crawford's ability to bulk up while keeping his speed and accuracy has surprised even his critics. Some experts have even gone as far as to predict not just a Crawford win, but a knockout. His physical transformation has made the boxing world rethink whether Canelo will even have a size advantage once they enter the ring.
Don't win fights. And everybody, it seems like, that says muscles don't win fights usually have ridiculous muscle mass. Like Devin Haney was like, muscles don't win. And Devin's like way bigger than everybody else at 135 pounds and jacked to the gills. That's that snack shit. Okay, we're not doing that. But Terence Crawford also on that snack shit. Anyway, Bud Crawford did just drop a body transformation pic. Let's take a look at it. Boom! Son, I'm sorry, I have a flat tire. Does anyone have a jack to help me out? Oh, thank you, Bud Crawford. You're actually huge. The man has abs on his abs on his abs. I'm not trying to glaze, but that doesn't look like a 147 pounder. It doesn't look like a 154 pounder. That looks like a grown man. He's definitely put some weight on, coming to 168 pounds. And I can tell you that now. Take what I'm about to show you with a grain of salt because it is on weigh-in day, but look at what he was at 140 pounds. Now again, he's out of camp, hasn't made the weight cut yet, but that's him right now. But I mean, that is crazy. Couple of things. Yes, muscles don't win you fights, and the biggest question we have to ask now is, how will this newfound muscle mass affect Bud Crawford in the fight? Because one of the things I have said continuously about this fight is that the weight issue has been completely overblown by people. And what I mean is there is not a massive weight disparity between these two fighters. What Canelo walks around at and what Terence Crawford walks around at is probably similar, and maybe Terence Crawford even weighs a little more. I don't know. I saw the picture of the scale of him at 186. It may be a little less when he's normally not trying to gain weight, but that's not the point of the weight difference. The point of saying there is a weight difference is that Canelo Alvarez has consistently fought and been successful at 160 to 168.
Controversy broke out when analyst Showbiz the Adult suggested the fight could be fixed after noticing Turki Al-Sheikh's role in Crawford's camp. In one clip, Turki is heard telling Terence not to retire after the Canelo fight, which Showbiz the Adult took as possible code for returning a favor. The claim hints that since Turki helped make the fight happen, he might expect something back from Crawford. While this idea is mostly speculation, it has sparked debate among fans and analysts, raising questions about whether outside influence could impact the fairness of such a massive showdown.
On the first part, return the favor. But Turki, in a second thought, said, no, I'm going to deliver this message. He goes back to Bud, and he says, and don't retire after this. Don't retire.
No retirement.
Yeah. That's what Turki meant when he was trying to say, return the favor.
Guys, you must retire. Yeah.
I did this for you. You got this big fight. Yeah, the job ain't done. Deliver the job, but don't retire. Return the favor. That is the most important part, and we're gonna break that down. The deliver the job thing, that is more of a language difference, okay? Because Bud is saying, this the job ain't done. He said, oh yeah, deliver the job, sorry. Mostly meaning, put on a good fight. Fight your heart out. If you win, cool. That'll be best if you win. But I'm just saying, it's not about winning. Winning is about trying. Winning is about going for greatness. Marvelous Marvin Hagler wasn't undefeated. Sugar Ray Leonard, Duran, Muhammad Ali, Sam Langford, Jack Johnson, Jack Dempsey, some of these Gene Tunney, some of the greatest fighters of all time, Willie Pep, Sammy Sadler. These guys weren't undefeated, right? But that's what made them great, is that they were taking on all challenges. His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh knows that the product isn't the fighter. The product is the sport. So he's trying to put on the best matches, which is why he's saying, don't retire, return the favor, because I got more ideas for you.
Rapper Boosie joined the conversation by calling Terence Crawford a silent killer. He explained that Crawford's calm attitude and quiet confidence make him even more dangerous, because he doesn't need trash talk or showmanship. Instead, he lets his work in the ring do the talking, powered by his unshakable drive. Boosie warned that Canelo should be very careful since Crawford's calmness hides the explosive power and accuracy he brings on fight night. By giving him the title of a silent killer, Boosie summed up Crawford's true nature of fighter who doesn't chase attention with words, but makes his statement with his fists.
I know his spirit.
Yeah?
Yeah, he got a killer in him. He a silent killer. I've been around niggas like that in the hood. Them niggas lay back until you bring it out of them, then they just, you know, I've been like that with them niggas. Like, I didn't watch Crawford. I didn't hung out with this nigga. This is my boy. Like, this nigga got a killer in him. You know, Canelo better be fucking ready. Like, this nigga got a killer in him.
Boxing expert Russ Amber pointed out how rare Crawford's move is, jumping several weight classes to fight one of the sport's most dominant champions. He explained that only a handful of fighters in history have ever taken such a big leap, and even fewer have pulled it off. This daring step shows not only Crawford's ambition, but also his readiness to risk everything to secure his legacy. Amber praised Crawford's courage, saying that win or lose, this challenge puts him in a different category from most fighters.
Can't think of anybody, especially someone who hasn't even competed in that division. So, yeah, I can't think of anybody. And to think that Crawford, you know, started out at 135. I mean, the last guy I can think of doing that would have been Duran, but I think Duran went up and won the title at middleweight, you know, and he didn't do it all in one fell swoop. It was one weight category after another. You know, Leonard at 35, Davey Moore at 54, then Iran Barkley at 60. I mean, it just kept moving up, but I don't know of anybody that's gone from 35 up to 168. And basically, leapfrog the division. So from champion at 147, one fight at 154, and then leapfrogs over an entire section of top 10 contenders at 168 pounds, never having fought at 168. Oh, leapfrogs 160, over into the contenders at 168, right into a title shot. Yeah, I can't think of anybody that's done that. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right. Tommy, over the last couple of years, I think Canelo's come to rely on his power. Do you think that'll be enough against Crawford's ring IQ and his combinations and footwork?
You know, I can't think of any fighter where punching power alone is enough. So, you know, Canelo has come around with two things, punching power and defense. He's still very, very difficult to hit, which allows him to load up on shots and get into the range that he wants to get into, where he can fire away with hard punching power, not setting them up as much as he used to in the past, not having that, you know, that same work rate that he used to have. But if he's just thinking of going out there looking for that one shot.
Another big storyline in this fight is the size comparison between the two fighters. While Canelo has long been seen as the naturally bigger man, new footage of Crawford shows he now matches or even surpasses Canelo in size. Observers remember how Crawford already looked strong when he moved up for the Madrimov fight, showing power and comfort on fight night. Now at 168, he seems to have filled out his frame even more impressively. The image of a bulked-up but sharp Crawford has shocked analysts, who once thought Canelo's size would rule. Instead, the comparison now suggests Crawford has closed the gap, if not swung in his favor.
When he fought Israel Madrimov, that was at the 154-pound weight limit. But when Crawford actually got into the ring on fight night, he was actually the heavier of the two men, clocking in at 169.8 pounds. We'll call it 170 just for the ease of the video. But 170 pounds at 154, that's a very, very solid rehydration. That is a very good weight for a 154-pound fighter. And our man Canelo Alvarez gives us evidence and testament to this. I've gone back through the years to have a look at what Canelo weighed in the ring when he fought 154 pounds to give us context as to the size difference. And don't get me wrong, Canelo will be bigger now than he was back then, but Crawford will be too. Crawford will also put that extra size on, and whilst he's not experienced fighting with the extra weight, it will give us some kind of understanding of how much of an issue it might be. We'll take everything into account, but just to begin with, you know, how big is the size difference? Well, going back and looking at some of these fights, we'll start with the Floyd Mayweather fight. So that was at 152-pound catch weight, and I said in my tactical video that Canelo was dehydrated for that one, that he wasn't at his maximum capability. Now, I still stand by that assessment because he was so green in his career, and because I feel his best performances have come at higher weight classes, and especially where he's not been having to cut lots of weight. But just for context in that one, he was 165 pounds in the ring versus Floyd that night. Meanwhile, Floyd Mayweather weighed 150.5 pounds, so there was actually a 14.5-pound weight difference that night. So you start to understand where I'm going with this in this video. I want to look at the context of where there's been weight gaps before. So someone who was 14.5 pounds lighter than Canelo was able to beat him on that night. Now look, Mayweather is an all-time great. Mayweather was unbelievably skilled and had soldiers tied up in knots. He couldn't do anything with him. But let's look at some other fights for some more context. When he fought Austin Trout, they were around about the same when they got in the ring. When they fought at 154 pounds, Canelo was 172 and Trout was 171. And that's really interesting to look at because that tells us that Canelo was only a couple of pounds heavier than Crawford when rehydrated when he fought at 154 pounds.
Crawford's trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre, has firmly stated that his fighter is already bigger than most people think. In his words, the jump to 168 pounds isn't as drastic as critics say. Bomac argues that Canelo's size has been exaggerated and that Crawford has the natural frame and strength to compete on even terms at super middleweight. His confidence in Crawford's ability to adjust highlights the belief in camp that Terence isn't entering unknown territory, but stepping into a weight class where he can truly excel.
Bomac also added that when Crawford said that he's gonna fight Canelo at 168, that he was completely fine with it because Crawford is already a natural big guy to begin with, and that once again, contrary to popular belief, Canelo is not the bigger guy. Basically, if anything, it's easier for Crawford because he's no longer gonna have to drain himself.